Hello, welcome back to the podcast. It is absolutely scorching here, and I have to register that on the podcast because I often, during the very long winter that we experience here in the UK, I often complain about the rain and the cold. And so it just seems only right that I take a moment to acknowledge that it's absolutely piping hot over here right now. And I'm not complaining. I'm absolutely loving it. If you are listening to this from the UK or watching this from the UK and experiencing the heat wave, then I hope you're enjoying it too. I hope you're appreciating it and knowing that it won't be for long. It won't be long before we're back in the cold again. So make the most of it. We are going to talk today about the 15 reasons why you should book a consultation, a consult with me. So 15 reasons to book a consult. Super simple, slightly different to the style of podcast episodes that I normally do. I am literally just going to list 15 things. And I want to let you into, it's not really a secret, but what I do want to offer is I'm saying 15 reasons because I just stopped at the number 15. I actually could have gone on and on. But already with these 15 reasons, I filled a page of my notes. And I thought, you know what? 15 reasons is pretty compelling. And I am confident that at the end of this episode, once you've heard like just an example of, so these 15 different reasons why you should book a consult, I'm confident you are going to want to jump on a call with me and talk about your career, talk about your progression goals, talk about your career progression confusion, if that is where you are at. And what I will do in the notes, as always, is make sure I include the link to booking a consult with me directly. Now, I have limited this so that I don't get obviously inundated with consults from every single lawyer, every single level. I have limited it to if you're a Black lawyer and you are mid to senior level. You can be in private practice, you can be in-house, but the important thing is that you're at a certain stage in your career where the challenges they're slightly different, or the way they present themselves are slightly different, and the impact it has on your progression goal is more pronounced. So it is focused on you at that level. But whatever level you are at, I want you to listen anyway and bear in mind these reasons, because at some point I'm going to be inviting the more junior of you. So the junior to mid level associates, the trainees, right? The paralegals. At some point, I'm going to be inviting you to book too. And these reasons to book are going to be every bit as valid. Okay. So reason number one, you book a consult to meet me and actually decide if you want to work with me. It sounds obvious, but I know a lot of you, and I'm so delighted because you tell me this when I see you. You've been following me for a while now, right? And you know that you know about my expertise in this area. You know what I do. You know I can help you when it comes to your career progression goal. It's quite possible that you also know someone who has worked with me and they have recommended me, which makes you even more interested or curious or inclined to work with me. But you keep thinking about it, and you've been thinking about it for a long time. Some of you have had me on your radar for years. So what I want to offer is the number one reason, or one reason to book a consult with me, is to find out, make a decision. Really important to make a decision right now, even if the decision is now isn't the right time to work with Caroline. Even, by the way, I don't imagine there would be a reason why this is, but it does happen. Even if the decision is, oh, actually, Caroline's not the right coach for me, at least you will have the information that you need to make a decision. And as long as you're undecided and you're spending years undecided, then you're not progressing. And we want you progressing, my friend. Okay? That's reason number one. To meet me, decide if you want to work with me. Reason number two, to ask me any question you have, anything you like about Be the First. So Be the First is my career progression program for Black lawyers, particularly mid to senior level Black lawyers. And I know you have a lot of questions. If you're following me, then you will see that I I speak to a number of the questions that you've shared with me that you have, like, is Be the First for me? How does it work? I don't really understand like the group coaching dynamic. What do you mean when you say you coach me one-on-one, but like I learn and I progress as a group? Like, what does that mean? How does it actually work with group coaching? So I know you have all of these questions, and I do speak to them in my posts on LinkedIn, in my weekly emails regularly. But sometimes you miss those. Sometimes the way I've spoken to them hasn't quite answered your question. So jump on a call with me, book your consult, jump on a call with me, ask me anything you want, absolutely anything, and I will answer. Reason number 3 to book a consult with me. It is to prioritize your goals. I know for a fact that you're caught up in the day-to-day business of being a lawyer, whether in-house or in private practice. I have been really quite amazed at how particularly the last few weeks, how extraordinarily busy all my clients are. It seems to be, I don't know if it's getting more and more so, but they're all in really lean teams, being asked of you. And what that means, it means a lot of things. It has a lot of implications for different areas of your life. But what it also means is one of the last things you're thinking about is like where I want to progress to next. Yeah, it's quite challenging to prioritize your goals when you are busy just staying afloat, just keeping your head above water with all the work that is flooding in. And one of the fantastic things about booking a consult with me is it's just you deciding. It takes 30 seconds to book the consult. So that takes no time at all. But by booking that consult, what you've done in that 30 seconds is like raise your head up, take a breath, and like give yourself the opportunity to think strategically about what it's all about. Where are you going? What's the point of it all? All this sacrifice, all this hard work. What you're giving yourself when you book a consult with me is the opportunity to just see the wood for the trees, see where you want to go, see where it is, what it's all for, to reconnect with that. And in doing so, get more of a clear sense of where you want to go, where you want to take it. So that's reason number 3, to prioritize your goals at a time when there's so much else that's demanding your attention. Just 30-second, 60-second booking, click on the booking link, and then, of course, attending the consult, which is up to an hour. But that hour is so precious. The hour that you take away from what's available for you in the day to get the work done is an hour that has an ongoing, lasting, like really dramatic effect about the trajectory of your career. So the trade-off is so worth it. I want to offer. That's a great reason to book a consult with me. Okay. Reason number 4, to share with me with someone who is qualified and skilled in the art of listening, of understanding, of seeing clearly, and of reflecting back to you, to share with me what's going on for you, your innermost fears, your innermost doubts, your frustrations, the wounds, whatever it is you have been experiencing in your role in the workplace. This is an opportunity to share it with somebody who's going to be listening with, I want to say, with such a clean mind, meaning I don't have an agenda. I don't know you really well. So I'm also not bringing any kind of quote unquote bias that say your friends bring you, or your partner might bring you, or your parents might bring you. Positive bias, right? I know that, but I'm able to bring you the objectivity, right? So when you have these innermost fears and doubts, sometimes we don't actually want to share them with the people who are closest to us. I am someone that you can share those fears and doubts with, the emotions, anything that's coming up for you in your career. And what's amazing is not just how you're going to feel held and seen and heard by me in that consult, but how I'm going to help you to immediately feel better by showing you a clear way forward, by showing you and giving you an idea of what your roadmap might be to a better place, to feeling less of those negative emotions. Okay, so far so good. So what number are we on? We're on number 4, I'm just delicately stroking my forehead. This is being videoed at the same time as the podcast audio is being recorded. And I'm aware, because of the heat, that I am melting. Like I'm positively dripping. So I'm hoping it doesn't look too indelicate on the video. If it looks a little bit sweaty, just bear with me. These are hot, like sticky times. All right. Reason number 5 to book a consult with me: to just get started. You have been wanting to progress, but feeling stuck for quite some time now. Okay. And one of the things that keeps you stuck is I don't know what I want. Do I want to progress here? Do I want to go elsewhere? On a consultation yesterday, the lawyer I was speaking to, she created such a great image of where she was at. She was saying, right, so when you're at the bottom of the mountain and you're looking up, and she said, I don't even know if I want to if I want to get to the top of that mountain, and like whether I'd want to stay there. And I don't even know if I'm on the right mountain, like so that getting to the top of it would even be the right thing for me. And she was coming up with all these different examples of things that she was unsure about, uncertain about, and just stuck. And I call that spinning, not because she was like being all over the place at all. She was very composed, had done such great thinking actually about what she wanted to share with me on the consult. But it was more, I call it spinning because the fact that you don't make progress when you keep asking the same questions every now and then. And when you're throwing so many things up in the air and wanting to resolve them before you move forward. Because what that means is you're going round and round in circles and you never actually get started. And the beautiful thing about booking a consult with me and getting on that consult is you just get started. You start by having a conversation, by sharing the confusion that you might have, the uncertainty, sharing it with me, the expert ear, remember. It gets you started on your progression pathway. It's literally the step before you're on the pathway and moving towards your goal. It is the getting out of the confusion, getting out of being stuck. So that's reason number 5, so that you just get started when you know you want to progress. Reason number 6 to book a consultation with me is to understand the real reason that you are not progressing. I love this one. And I often in the consult, I will say, right, I know exactly what's keeping you stuck. Are you ready to hear it? And I do that in a warm and loving way because you may not be ready for what I'm about to say. You may not be ready for the fact that in some cases, what I explain to you, what I show you are the ways that you are keeping yourself stuck, the ways that your thinking is stopping you from seeing the way forward, the way that you're holding on to a story or a past experience that's like preventing you from seeing the opportunity right in front of you. So it's a great reason to book a consult with me so that you can understand the real reason you're not progressing versus what I often hear, which is the reason you're not progressing is because of one particular person in the organization or in the firm that you work for or in your team, or because of a group dynamic, or because the firm's racist, like a more general thing, the firm's racist, or it's not inclusive, or because there are no role models, there aren't enough Black people, for example, there aren't enough people you can see who look like you. Like often we think this is the reason why you're not progressing. And what I will show you is the real reason why you're not progressing in an environment like that. And that is gold, my friend. Once you have that insight, that perspective, different perspective, once you have that, it suddenly opens up a world of possibility about how you can then start moving forward. And most importantly, how that moving forward is within your control. So like, how valuable would that be to spend an hour with me and come out with that kind of, oh my gosh, I've been busy over here focused on this thing, on the lack of diversity in my team, when over here, there are all these opportunities that I haven't even seen or even tried to exploit, that could start me moving, start me progressing, right? So valuable just by being on the consult with me. And remember, this consult is free. So that's another great reason for you to book one. Okay, That's 6. Reason number 7 is to find out how simple the solution is. That's what I've written down. Find out how simple the solution is. I like the word simple. I use it because, well, 1, because being a lawyer is complicated enough, hard enough. And 2, the solution is simple. I know the process isn't easy. I know you're going to encounter challenges along the way as you are implementing that solution. I know that there will be setbacks because we all experience setbacks on the way to our goals. So all of that isn't easy. And being a lawyer isn't easy. So when I'm giving you a solution, right, to the reasons why you're getting stuck, I want that solution to be simple. So when you get on a consult with me, you're going to find out how simple that solution is. You're going to find out, I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue, that almost 100% of the time, the solution, well, it lies with you, and it starts with how you're thinking, right? How you're thinking and the thoughts that maybe you don't see, you don't recognize, that are getting in the way. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I want you to get on a consult and let me walk you through that. So that's reason number 7. Actually, before I go on to reason number 8, that simplicity of the solution, what I think that does is it removes a huge barrier. This is worth saying, sorry. So it removes the sense that to become unstuck, to progress the way you want to, or to the place or the level you want to get to, can feel like it's a massive thing, that it's going to require so much, a complete overhaul or something, or you're going to have to commit hours and hours to it. And I know that what puts you off, a number of you off joining Be the First, Progression for Back Lawyers, what puts you off joining Be the First is sometimes like, oh, this is not the right time. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the time to spare to dedicate to this. So knowing and really understanding how simple the solution is will really help to downplay and to take away that barrier, that sense you have that it would be a really massive commitment to go after your goals or to try to progress. I say throughout my program, we do meet weekly. You have those weekly sessions scheduled in your calendar. And what I say is the value is in the call. There isn't all this homework that you have to do in between sessions. You just coming to those coaching sessions, as many as you are able to come to, is going to help you progress. You will progress just by turning up to those sessions. So there's not this whole extra load that you're going to have as a result of starting to work with me that you have to prepare for or make room for in your life and in your career. Actually, the opposite. I always say to people who are like, oh, it's not the right time, or there's too much going on for me right now, I don't have the bandwidth. I say, this is exactly why you need to join Be the First. This now is the ideal time when you feel you have no bandwidth, because what the coaching program does, and by having that in your calendar every single week, it creates the space for you to create it creates the space, the physical space for you to grow, extend your headspace. What am I trying to say here? It creates the space for you to feel in control of what's going on. Whereas previously it all felt overwhelming, that it was too much. It creates the space for that. And I give you the tools to take control of that. One of those tools is time control. The number of you I have helped to completely transform your experience of being a lawyer just by teaching you time control. That's my unique process for taking control of your time so you feel less overwhelmed and so that you can manage the demands of working in this industry. That has brought so much value to so many of to all of my clients, but to so many of you who I know are listening, right? So that's really, really important. What number am I on? Okay, I'm on figuring out how simple the solution is. Right, so it's about the solution being simple. What you'll learn from the consult is the simple solution of just come to the coaching sessions. That would be such a simple solution to everything that's going on for you right now. Okay, there was a double whammy in there. I think I snuck in another one. All right. Reason number 8, really simple, is to give you a strategy to progress. So if you know you want to progress, you know you want to be partner, or you know you want to be head of legal, you know you want to be GC, what I give you is a strategy That's so valuable because a strategy is a roadmap. You don't have to be there cobbling together bits from a talk that you attended or a conference that you went to or bits and pieces from the podcast that you've listened to or my blog or any posts or this the video if you're watching that. You don't have to be there trying to cobble it all together, especially if you're new to me and there may be lots of stuff that you haven't seen or learned or experienced yet. You don't have to be there trying to put it together piecemeal. I literally, if you book a consult and attend that consult, I will set out really clearly, simply what your roadmap is to achieving your goal. So good. Like how rewarding and valuable would it be for you to just know exactly what you need to do? That's it. There's so much value in that. A bit like if you're going, I've just taken my son, so my kids are on holiday. So my youngest son, Max, he's very particular about how he has his hair cut. We've had very bad experiences with barbers in the past, and there's been a lot of tears. And so we were trying out a new barbers that had come out on a recommendation, and we were heading over to Luton. And I've never been to this barber's before. I knew I had a destination, so I had the goal, right? Never been there before. And obviously I'm juggling work at the same time, but I was able to jump in my car, open the sat nav, plug in the destination, and it gave me the roadmap to get there. No stress. All I had to do is set off on this journey. So easy for me to then get there, so much easier than if I'd got in the car and thought, like, how am I going to get to this place? I've never been there before. And me just setting off with no real clue about the best route to take. So booking a consult with me, attending that consult, you are going to get the route map. I'm going to be your navigator, right? Your Google Maps. That's the function I will be able to perform for you. So valuable. Okay. Reason number 9, why you should book a consult with me: to show what's important to you. Now, the questions I ask you in a consult are really such a great opportunity for you to reflect on and decide, like, what actually do I value right now? What is important? A lot of you come to me and say, I think my priorities have changed. I used to be ambitious and really like hungry to progress. And I used to want all of these things. And now I don't think I want it anymore. I don't know if I want to be partner, right? And there's something along the way, something's happened. Often it's your experience of your current environment or what you're seeing in the partnership, for example, and you're wondering, could I make it? Like, if I did make it, would I enjoy it? Would I want to be there? Would I be included? So all of those doubts and questions come up. And what that's doing is it's making you question what's important to you. And it can be really confusing because you used to be a certain way and you used to be ambitious and be wanting to go for the goals. But then now there are these different circumstances. Or it could be that you're starting a family or you want to grow your family. And so now that's another bit of sort of slightly conflicting information that makes you question or not really be clear about what's important to you. And it's not that some of those things will be important to you and some of them won't. It's more about the decisions that you make based on your belief around your ability to have all of those things, right? To achieve all of those things. So the understanding what's important to you is so much about, I'm just going to come out and say it, realizing that, slightly cheating here, but still come on the consult because we'll go into this in depth and how it's true for you. But ultimately it's realizing that you still care about progressing. If you have got to this level where you are now, you are a Black lawyer, you have overcome all those obstacles and setbacks and challenges. You have been ambitious up until now, then the chances are that you want to continue being ambitious. Yeah, that ambition hasn't just disappeared overnight. What that ambition looks like, what it will translate into, we will get into on the consult. But that's something that's so useful to just give yourself permission to still be ambitious, to still be someone who likes to achieve, to be a high achiever. Giving yourself permission to still be that person and then figuring out how you'll make everything else work around that. Okay. And that's one of the things I help you do. Understand what's still important to you. Achievement's still important to you. slightly cheated there and gave you too much information. All right. Reason number 10 to book a consult with me is to, it's actually related to the same thing, to help you see that you do want to be partner. I put this in very specifically, very deliberately. It does overlap with what I've just said, but I was thinking, as I was writing this list, of a client who, here's the slightly nuanced difference. When I was coaching her, she was adamant she didn't want to be partner. She didn't come to me questioning whether it was important to her or not, which was the previous reason I've just talked about. She was like, I don't want to be partner. And actually, after not very many conversations with me, what emerged was she just said, do you know what? I want to be partner. I realized this is what I want. What had happened is her internal resistance, she just like shut down the dream and the goal of it because she had all this internal resistance based on how capable she thought she was. And what I was able to show her, like in working on that, her confidence, as her confidence started to increase, she realized, oh my gosh, I want this. It's so interesting because I was thinking about one client who I worked with about 18 months ago. And of course, now I'm remembering 2 weeks ago, another one of my clients just came out of the blue and went, I want it, Caroline. I want to be partner. I'm ready. And I want to do it. I want who I'm going to become in going for partner. I want the experience. I want the journey. I'm already doing the role. And it's just so exciting. Honestly, I just love it when that happens, when you have this dream inside of you and it's been under kind of lock and key, or you've just been ignoring it. And then after a conversation with me, you can see how it's what you really want. You can see that it's possible. And also you can see that I can help you get there, which is amazing. Okay. Reason number 11, to get out of the confusion stage. Now, last week in episode 50, I talked about the career progression pathway, the 7 stages you have to go through in order to progress. And the first stage is getting clear on your goal. The second stage is getting the roadmap, so learning what you need to do. So understanding what you need to do. The third stage is learning the skills. The fourth stage was implementing what you've learned. The fifth stage was getting coached. The sixth stage was keeping going, right? Keeping going. And then the 7th stage was reaching your goal. So I talked about that. If you haven't listened to the progression pathway episode, you have to go and listen to it. It is so illuminating of like that necessary journey pathway that is required in order for you to get there. And the clearer your understanding of that and understanding of where you are on that pathway, the more likely, the more certain your progression is going to be. So it's so valuable. Don't miss that episode. But the relevance here is that if you consider that the first stage is getting clarity on your goal, one of the fantastic results of coming on a consult with me is I get you out of the stage before that. Like I get you into that first stage of the progression pathway. A little bit like what I was saying before about just getting started, but this is specifically relates to the confusion stage. That's what I would describe as the moment before you actually decide, do you know what? I want to progress. And this is where I want to progress to. A lot of you, again, I see you getting stuck in that stage. You can spend years in that stage. So booking a call with me is going to help you come out of that, out of the confusion stage. All right. So next, number 12, the 12th reason to book a consult with me is to learn what you don't need to focus on. This is a good one. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot, isn't there? If you like searched up the hashtag career progression on LinkedIn or Instagram or law career or any of those tags, you would just be inundated with different ideas, with different solutions. And then there are all the things that people are telling you. It's a lot. It can be really hard for you to figure out from that exactly what you need to do. And what I love about and what I talk you through and explain on the consult is there are just a very limited number of key things that you need to focus on, and you can forget about everything else. But you don't know what those things are, and you don't know what you can afford to forget about until you get on a consult with me. Share with me and tell me where you're at, answer my questions. I'm highly skilled at asking the right questions so I can really clearly see where you're at and see what the next move is for you. Like when you're on that call and we're having that conversation and the feedback I give you, you are going to come away with such relief that you only need to concentrate on these, I don't know, 3 or 4 things, as opposed to the massive material out there and I have to do everything, which in this industry, with your level of business, no wonder you aren't able to progress like as quickly or in the way that you would like to if you feel that there's just so much you need to do in order to progress and you need to do all of that on top of your day job. Okay. So the consult, what it does is it just creates constraint around what you need to do and it makes it so much more manageable. Again, so valuable. Okay. That was number 12. We're on number 13. And I'm going to laugh out loud because I've just realized I actually stopped at 14. Oh, no, I didn't. I did stop at 15. I had a panic then for a moment thinking, I can't even count. Okay, we're on number 13. Number 13 is the reason to book a consult with me right now, today, book it now, at the end of this episode, the end of this video. It's to see what you're missing. I had this in a consult last week, where the client talked a lot about a particular bit of negative feedback and a particular boss or partner that she's really, really struggling with. And it was interesting is in my exploration of where she was at and all those questions I was asking her and the information she was giving me, 90% of her energy, 90% of her answers related to this particular partner and the experience that she had had with this partner. But in digging, what I could clearly see was that that experience with the partner related to only represented about 20% of her experience, maybe even less, of being in that firm. And yet she'd come to me thinking, I think I want to leave because of this partner. So what I was able to show her, even in the consult, was what she was missing. What she wasn't seeing were the 80% of other things going on for her that were working really well, very positive feedback she got from very high up people. I was able to show her what she'd been missing that was so positive. And in doing so, it completely changed her perspective on whether moving to a new place with all of the unknowns, by the way, all of the promises that a new place offers and the grass is greener, but so many of the unknowns that are inevitable when you move to a different place. It changed that completely because suddenly, actually, we're able to start talking about what she could do, how she could continue to progress just by focusing on the 80 or 90% of what was going well where she was. That was a big deal. So this happens a lot where we can get so caught up in the negative and our brain likes to fixate on the things that aren't so great. We get so caught up in that we end up missing all the positive and all the opportunities. I can help you see what you're missing. Okay, we're almost there. Number 14, reason number 14 to book a consult with me, to show you what's possible. You may not have the dream that's big enough for you. What I mean by that is so often I speak to you and your ambitions are like 50% what they could be and what they quote unquote should be. And when I say should, I'm talking about your capability, your potential. So few of you come to me with a real sense like I am infinitely capable and I have all this potential and I want to use it. And the sky's the limit for me. And one of the things that I do in a consult is I help you see how much potential you have, how far you could go if you had me believing in you and if you had me helping you to believe in yourself and believe in what's possible. That's one of the things you'll get from a consult with me. And then the final, there is a number 15, reason number 15, why you should book a consult with me. I love this one. That's why I left it to last. To give you hope. Some of you out there are feeling pretty hopeless, feeling like, what's the point? Feeling very discouraged, very despondent. And I absolutely guarantee you that after being on a consult with me, you will start to see the light. You will start to see the possibility. You will start to see that things can be different for you, that there is a way forward. There is a light, literally. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And the beautiful thing is, I will be able to show you, I can see that light. And you will see how just having me by your side, able to see that light, I can guide you to that light, out into the open space, out into a different place, a place where there isn't hopelessness, a place where there's possibility, and a place where you can see then and start really dreaming and going after what you want and what's possible for you. Okay, that's it. My 15 reasons why you absolutely must book a consult with me right now. If you are a mid to senior level Black lawyer, I've given you 15 reasons. Just one of those reasons is value enough to merit clicking on the link, booking a consult, and jumping on a call with me. So even if you're not 100% sure whether you should or not, if you are even 50% considering it, just book a consult, jump on the call. The worst case scenario is we have a great conversation about your career, where you are, what you want, what you don't want, and you come away feeling that you've been seen, you've been heard, you've been listened to, obviously, and also like just uplifted by the amazing work of collaborating with someone to think about the bigger picture about what's important. All right, that's enough from me this week. Don't want you to spend any time mulling over it. Just book, as I've said, click on the link in the notes or in the comments, book your consult. I can't wait to meet you, learn more about you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you tune in next week when I will be talking about, oh, that's right, I'm going to be talking about actually what happens inside Be the First. Let me just check that is actually the agenda for next week. I think I'm talking about what's inside Be the First, but make sure you tune in next week. But in the meantime, my friend, thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Keep progressing. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.